I'll move this out of the way. So, first I'd like to say, in the title on my speech I have a capital E on my engineer, but really it's a lowercase e, because I'm not a professional engineer yet, I'm still in engineering training. And I'm going to tell a story about something I experienced as a part of my job, and why it's good to have the proper tools for your job. So, I work for a large electric utility based in Dallas, and as a part of my job I get a cell phone. And I don't have it with me today, but it is a little tiny Verizon cell phone. And I have a project right now in Central Texas where there is a void. There is a coverage void. If you look at all the coverage maps, there's a place, I think it's Ballinger, Texas or something like that, there is no coverage. And the only service that seems to work reliably, and this is no way an endorsement, but AT&T is, based on our experience, is the only one that works reliably. Well, I didn't have that phone at this time. At that time when I was down there, which was back in January, doing a field review for a construction job. So, this is how the legend of the Rogue Engineer was born. If you guys ever come down to down or up to the 5th floor of our building, we have a skull and crossbones sign, and it says Rogue Engineering. And I'll tell you the story about that. Back in January or February, it was really cold outside, about 20 degrees, the wind was blowing, it was bitter out. It was bitter out there. And we were doing this field review. So, as we're going down our, we call right-of-way, our proposed right-of-way, where we're going to build our transmission line, we come across a lot of gates, and we install these gates in our line in order to be able to go up and down the right-of-way. Well, we come across a gate, and it was practically frozen shut. We took a torch. Well, let me see. First we tried to unlock it. We tried to unlock the gate. And then couldn't do it. Couldn't even get the key into the gate, into the lock, excuse me, because it was frozen shut. So like, someone had a propane torch, so we took the propane torch and just kind of tried to heat up the lock a little bit, try to get it to loosen up, to expand the metal so we can put the key in the hole. Didn't work. But it was one of our standard locks, or what at least I thought was a standard lock for our company. So, after trying for about 10 minutes in the bitter cold to open this lock, I said, being the company man at the time, in presence, so to speak, I said, let's just cut it, put a new lock on. So we cut the lock, put a new lock on. Got in the gate, kept on going. We thought all was well. Keep on going down for about another hour, going down the right-of-way, looking at stuff, get to another gate. This time, the gate was, and remember it's really cold out there, someone had taken our lock off the gate and wrapped a chain around it so tight that we could not even open it up. We couldn't even get the chain off. And to add insult to injury, it was cold outside, so what I think happened, this is my opinion, is that the metal shrunk, the chain shrunk, and just made it worse.
Oh.
So it was like trying to open a gate, you couldn't do it. And then, what someone else did was they put their own lock on the gate. So I had no way to get into this gate. And if anybody else came after me to do maintenance or do any inspection, they wouldn't have a way to get into the gate. Well, we are allowed the right to go in and out of these gates. So I made another executive decision, being the company man on our little expedition, to cut that lock as well. And I left the lock on there, and I sent a text message to our right-of-way agent, our landman, whatever you want to call it, and I said, hey, heads up, I'm over here at, I don't know what the structure is, but it's about this area. I cut a lock on a gate. You might want to call the landowner and let them know. So I keep on going and keep on going. Another hour passes by. And let me tell you, I have a Verizon phone, okay? I have the Verizon phone. If I need to get a hold of somebody, I'm using one of the guys with me, I'm using his phone, who he has AT&T, because I'm able to make calls on that. But no one knows I'm using this other guy's phone. So, I try to call one of the people we're supposed to meet for lunch, let him know we're on our way. Can't get a hold of him for some reason. Finally, get to where we're going to meet someone for lunch, and I said, Eric! And he gets out of the car, and he said, he's on the phone talking to someone, looks real serious, looks real upset, and all I can hear him say is, yep, okay, okay. All right, I'll talk to you later, Kim's here. And he says, what did you do? What have you been going up and down cutting locks on people's property? I said, yeah, because we couldn't get into the gates, and so I had to cut some locks, but we left them on there, and I let the land agent know that we did it. He's like, you got me in trouble. So I apparently got him in trouble. So during this 2-hour span of me starting at point A and ending up at this place to meet someone for lunch, I cut 2 locks. And the person I tried to call to let them know tried to call me on my Verizon phone to let me know that there was a problem. They couldn't get a hold of me. So they called their manager, and their manager tried to call me, couldn't get a hold of me. So the manager called my manager tried to call me, couldn't get a hold of me. Then my manager calls the inspector, the guy I was meeting for lunch, and that's where the mean phone call comes from. So, starting with Kim, goes all the way up a chain of command, has to go over to another chain of command, comes down, back to Kim. That's the kind of communication we had to deal with that day. So, my manager finally gets a hold of me and talks to me, and she was laughing. She thought it was very funny what happened. She was told by someone that they have a rogue engineer out on the right-of-way cutting locks and defending our rights. So that's Kim, the rogue engineer. And the legend lives on ever since. But I think the path of communication that it all went through kind of illustrates a point. You got to have the right tools where you're at. You know, you got to be able to talk to people, especially when you're out on where there's no one else around. So, needless to say, I got myself an AT&T phone. Thank you.